Douglas Luiz to Arsenal is back on the cards, and it's the 9th of June 2024. Welcome to this channel known as the Rokani Media Football. This is the Football News Show, and hope you guys are really having fun. And this is RD. You can call me Rock and David in the mix. Those that have gone here to church will come back, and hope the Lord God really rewards you for all those steps you've gone ahead to make. See to it that you obviously go and gather and obviously talk to Him. The Muslims, Barakallahu Fikum. And may the living to God bless you abundantly. We are talking Trent Alexander-Arnold, Mohamed Salah, future at Liverpool. We are also talking about the father of Kevin De Bruyne and how he best knows his son, that is Kevin De Bruyne. 400 likes on this video, and don't forget to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, we want you guys to continue subscribing, right? Because we are soon hitting the magic number of 22,000 subscribers. And guys, how do you do that? Go into the lower right bottom corner, smash the black button that has the word subscribe. After smashing it, hit the notification bell. That will enable you to get notified every time I upload a video onto this channel. And we are left with just 28 subscribers to hit 21,500 subscribers. So guys, 28 subscribers, go ahead, do what we call the due diligence here, and then we will obviously be up there in the sky to obviously talk with you. Douglas Luiz is not a new name to the transfer list of Arsenal. Arsenal have gone ahead to chase for the transfer or for the signature of Douglas Luiz for the last 2 years. On the deadline day of 2022, Arsenal came in and really put in that bid of £20 million. It was rejected, and they thought they could get him because he had just a year left on his contract. Arsenal went ahead to obviously go in for this other guy that even came in and is playing for Nottingham Forest, who was playing for Palmeiras. You get? And they also rejected the bid. You get? Now, as it stands, Douglas Luiz is of interest to Arsenal, and the stories have gone ahead obviously be reignited by TalkSport that Aston Villa are considering selling Douglas Luiz this summer to ease the Premier League sustainability rules, the profit and sustainability rules concerns. TalkSport understands Arsenal are long-term admirers of the player. We all know that Arsenal are long-term admirers of Douglas Luiz. Then Grammy Bailey coming in through from the GRV media and so on, he told us that Aston Villa see Douglas Luiz as one of their most sellable assets and are not ruling out selling him this summer. However, they are also not ruling out the Brazilian signing a new deal with contract taking place since last season. Now, Aston Villa has gone ahead to qualify for the Champions League, and we all know that they need to comply with the Premier League profit and sustainability rules. And if at all you don't, you might find yourself in a situation losing out points like Everton, Nottingham Forest in the due course of the season. And if at all you Aston Villa, you wouldn't like to obviously go and play in the Champions League just once and not go there, because Champions League is money, and there is huge money, or there is a huge stake that has gonna hit obviously be put onto a team that is going to be playing to the Champions League. We all know that, and they're going to be making in huge money. So, but before they do all that, they have to sell a player, I think by 30th of June or before the 30th of June, to balance up their books. And one of those players is Douglas Luiz, and Douglas Luiz right now is with the Brazilian national team, and that's where he's really playing the game of football and waiting to see what the future really lies with. He's a Premier League proven player. That's what makes him special for the side of Arsenal. And when you look at the positions that Arsenal are really lacking, I think he can come in through and obviously put in a very, very, very huge shift. That is it. Because when you look at what he has as a player, I think Arsenal need it. One, he's a set piece good player. Like when it comes obviously putting in set pieces, he'll obviously come up and put in the shift, and after putting in the shift, you'll obviously see to it that everything goes in as planned. You remember that goal is scored at Emirates. You understand? When he really went ahead and obviously crossed that, but it was in the season of 2021. It was in the season of 2022, 2023, and he scored a very beautiful goal. Though later, Arsenal went ahead to obviously score a late winner, and they went ahead to obviously win that game. And Douglas Luiz is that kind of player that you'll always need in your team, especially if you want what we call energy to obviously drive your side to go to where it deserves to be. When you look at the Brazilian national team that obviously started yesterday, Douglas Luiz was there, and he started in the midfield alongside Andreas Pereira and Ederson. You get? And even Gabriel Martinelli went ahead to start in that Brazilian national team. And they took out Douglas Luiz in the 74th minute, and they brought on Bruno Guimaraes, a player that Arsenal is also interested in. So, Douglas Luiz has come of interest to very many teams after his price tag has gone ahead to obviously shrink. Aston Villa thought that they're really having a good player, and they would obviously get £105 million. And indeed, he's a good player. They thought there would be what we call a heated argument, like the one that occurred when Declan Rice was crossing from West Ham to Arsenal, but interest has not obviously rise to that level. And guess what? They've gone ahead to obviously reduce the price tag of Douglas Luiz. And let me obviously bring you something that saw Douglas Luiz being linked to Man United, and the reason given was this, and this is where we got to know how much they're willing to obviously sell Douglas Luiz. Now, Classio Marketo told us that Manchester United are interested in signing Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. Aston Villa will demand £60 million from a non-British club for Luiz. However, the fee could raise up to £20 million if a Premier League club is serious about landing the deal. So, one will be asking, what has the price of Douglas Luiz shrinked to? It has shrinked to £80 million for a team in the Premier League. A team outside the Premier League like Juventus being linked to Douglas Luiz, £60 million. Now, £80 million, if you're getting in a Premier League proven player like Douglas Luiz, on any day, I pay it without further ado. I tell you. For me, that amount of money, £80 million for Douglas Luiz, I pay it without further ado. Because if you're Arsenal, you look at his numbers. 9 goals, 5 assists in 35 Premier League games. You understand? And even in the UEFA Europa League, I think Conference League, he went ahead obviously put in some goals. He's a player who will help you when you are not having the ball and when you are having the ball, and he put up a very huge performance. He can play as a CDM, he can play as a central attack midfielder or a box-to-box midfielder. So, name it, this guy will obviously come in through and really offer you what you really want, and that is Douglas Luiz for you. And this is why a team like Arsenal is back for him, because there is what we call a shrinking in the price, and £80 million for me, it's an absolute steal. And when you look at other teams that are interested in signing Douglas Luiz, Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester United, there is even Juventus. So Juventus has an edge because it's a £60 million bargain, right? But for the Premier League teams, they'll have to pay £80 million. You get? Now, which Premier League side do you think is going to win the race? Because I know the race is going to be on, and it will depend on what levels and demands have going to be set by the player and his agent, because the demands of Aston Villa really known that at £80 million, Douglas Luiz will be a player to sign for the side of any club. But for Arsenal, I've been explaining this. I think for the last 3-4 months, I've been explaining how Douglas Luiz fits into the club of Arsenal. When you look at what he really brings on table, it's really very, very immense. You can talk about his style of play, winning tackles, defending, scoring goals. He's a press-resistant player. You understand? He can really score you goals anywhere in set pieces. He can score a worldie like anywhere outside the Tina's box area. He can go in for color. He can go in for direct shot. He can go in for chipping effort. He makes assists. He's a complete midfielder, in other words. And his physicality is going to have to be proven in the Premier League. And very soon, we'll hear him have something to say about this transfer of him being linked to Arsenal, Manchester United, Juventus, Man City, and Liverpool, because they're going to be playing into the Copa America, and it's going to be vital into the team of Brazil. And we'll be here letting you know what this guy's going to have to say as him into the mix. So we'll leave it at that, and more stories are going to be developing for Douglas Luiz, and I'm going to be coming in here and we're reacting it. And I told you that Arsenal really has a reason that they can get in this guy easily. Brazilians have always wanted to play with their fellow Brazilians, and one of the teams, or the big teams in the world with very many Brazilians, it's none other than Arsenal. Gabriel Magalhães, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Martinelli, 3 Brazilian players in there for you, and he plays with all of those at the national team. Though right now he's with Gabriel Magalhães and Gabriel Martinelli, and I tell you what, those two can do a very good job to convince him to come in through and really join the club of Arsenal. So we wait and see how that is going to pan out, but we'll be getting more and more information of Douglas Luiz being linked to Arsenal. And I think before today ends, Fabrizio Romano would have gone here to put out an update on this guy, and I will be the one to come in here and throw that update to you into your vicinity of watching. Now let's go to Liverpool. Fabrizio Romano has come out and told us that Trent, Virgil van Dijk, all these players are waiting to start conversations for a new contract with Liverpool FC. I think it will be this week that they start having contact with the club to clarify their contract situations. Obviously, when you look at Salah, he's one of those players that you don't want to lose, especially if at all you are Ancelotti, a new manager, because you wouldn't like to lose a person who gets you 30 goals plus a season. You get? Going to the Champions League, Ancelotti will want him to obviously be here, and his contract expires in 2025. That's the contract of Mohamed Salah, meaning that he added 3 more years. He extended the contract in 2022, left with 1 year on his contract, and Liverpool won't want him to obviously come in through to see to it that he goes into this season when his future is not clarified. And this is where you could see Mohamed Salah move to the side of Saudi Arabia. If he says no to the new contract, then they will be like, we are going to offload you to the side of Saudi Arabia. That is it. But you wouldn't like to lose a player like him. And for Trent Alexander-Arnold, he's really one of those right backs that is one of the best in the world, and you wouldn't like to lose him. And when you look at the way Ancelotti plays, I think he's really going to come in through to obviously improve this side a lot. Even his contract expires in 2025, and I know that there is interest of Trent Alexander-Arnold from Real Madrid, and they would like to sign him because Dani Carvajal looks like he's going to be playing. He really played his last game for Real Madrid, and they want to go in for Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I don't know whether Trent will give them green light, but it will depend on how Liverpool really does its stuff. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is still young. People might have gone ahead to hear his name or had his name for a very long time, but the guy is just 26 years of age and is making 25 October this year. So he's still young, and he still has a lot left in his tank to obviously offer to Liverpool. Being a born and bred of Liverpool, you don't want to lose players like Trent. You don't. And it will have to depend on Ancelotti's plan that he has onto Trent Alexander-Arnold. And Trent wouldn't like to commit to a club that won't see him really play for a very long time. Contact is beginning next week, and we are going to see what the world has for, we are going to be seeing what the world has for Mohamed Salah. But it's going to be a challenging season for Mohamed Salah because last season, the way they imploded, it was really, 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 really bad, and it gave them bad vibes. And they would like to come in through and put in a shift that onslaught will be at its apex, right? So we wait and see how these contract talks are really gonna go, but when they are done, I'll come here to let you know. Trent Alexander-Arnold is part of the England national team that's going to be playing the Euros, and they're going to be starting, I think, on the 16th. And here onto the Rokani Media Football, we are going to be bringing you almost everything in here onto this channel known as the Rokani Media Football. That's why I always tell you to subscribe so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Now, let's obviously go to Kevin De Bruyne's father, what he says about the son. Kevin De Bruyne's father said, to understand Kevin De Bruyne, you need to understand honestly has always guided him. You need to understand honesty has always guided him. This is also why he has no trouble saying things to Pep. For example, when they talk, they are not getting angry. It's just two people saying things. So this guy is an open-spoken person, right? He calls a spade, and you can call him a person who is really gallant. You understand? He really calls a spade and will never come out, obviously, forsake himself from something that is really nagging him. He'll come out, throw it into your face, and you'll understand that Kevin De Bruyne is not really happy. But his situation at Man City, he's really in an ocean of questions because he wants money in, and at that juncture, he can even see himself pocket close to 2 million euros per week when he goes to the side of Saudi Arabia. And talks have gone ahead to initiate. He has also gone ahead and obviously confirmed to us that at his age, he cannot compete, right? So that is it coming in through from the father of Kevin De Bruyne, and I call upon for your reactions into the comment section below about Douglas Luiz to Arsenal back on the ladders. What do you make about it? And Trent and Mohamed Salah contract talks commencing this week. And what do you make about Kevin De Bruyne's father? What I was going to say about his son? May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslim is Barakallahu Fikum, and the may living to God bless you abundantly. We out. 400 likes on this video, and let's see ourselves hit 22,000 subscribers in a nick of time. Guys, continue to subscribe. We are 20 plus subscribers away from hitting 21,500 subscribers, and I know by today would have gone ahead to hit that milestone. Bye bye.